Okay, hello everyone and welcome to the FrontSpot event. Today we'll have a collaboration with a Farba design community, so it's quite interesting, quite unusual event for us. And today we will talk about how designers and developers can learn to understand each other. So yeah, it's a quite common case, but we would like to tell some stories today, and we would like to improve how do we talk, how do we understand each other. So for today, we prepared 3 stories for us to discuss, and we will see them both from the UX designers and the front-end developers. And also would like to greet our YouTube participants, and we strongly encourage you to post comments and ask questions. After all of the discussions, you'll have a chance to share your own stories, so it's more about people who are joined us for offline. And also we'll have a quiz. And also we'll have quite nice prizes for the best story and for the quiz. And let me proceed with our participants. So let me introduce Masha. Masha works in EPAM more than 1 year. She is a senior UX designer. She works on Google account, and she has strong experience with developing UX architecture. And Masha plays a very strong role in AR/VR community. So Lee, she works in EPAM more than 4 years, and she is lead UX designer with strong visual focus. She has a vast experience with front-end developers, and she's the head of watercolor community in Kraków. So yeah, we have even that kind of community. And last but not the least, our front-end developer, Artyom. He works in EPAM more than 8 years. He is a front-end developer with a strong experience on different projects with different technologies. So, and he plays a key role in FrontSpot community. So this is it for the introduction, and yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I can start.
Yes, Masha, please do.
Okay, so hi everyone again. As you can see on the screen, today's topic is how we can understand each other better, because a lot of us work in IT industries and we have a lot of fights. So today, as already was said before, we are going to discuss how to find balance in our collaboration. But first things first, let us again introduce ourselves. Excuse me, it doesn't work.
Okay.
We experienced technical issues.
Okay.
Next slide.
Okay, yeah, it works. Next slide, please, yeah. I'm Masha, senior designer. I work for Google, and I'm super happy to work for EPAM and for Google account, because this is how designers and developers are supposed to work each other, according to my own experience. By the way, hi, Steve. I'm glad you can join. So.
This is your manager.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no. So I'm Lidiia, and as was told earlier, I'm a lead designer at EPAM, and I have a lot of project and a lot of communication, collaboration issues with developers with Frontend. And today we will try to find this, we will try to build this bridge between us, between these 2 teams.
Yeah. So, as Anton was said, we prepared 3, I would say, horror stories, and we are going to transform them together into fairy tales. And now it's vanilla, but anyway. So, in case you do not have any question, any of you, I think we're ready to jump in. So, what do you think, guys? Are we ready?
Yes.
Okie dokie. So I need a special jar for this okie dokie. Anyways, the first story is called Eternal Battle for Visual Aesthetics, and we have 2 designers here. So once upon a time, there was Anna, middle designer who works for project, and she constantly distracts, I don't know, Alex, developer who works on the project as well, with some stupid questions, how it works, how we can simplify the development process, etc., etc. On the other hand, company recently has hired new designer Jakub, who never asks questions that makes, I don't know, Alex so happy. However, when it comes to development phase, his designs are incredibly beautiful, but it's very hard to implement.
Okay, so it seems obvious that for better understanding of limitation of any constraints, designers should be involved and interested in development process and how it influence at the design.
Like buttons, for example, at least the smallest part.
Smallest part. Talking about buttons, please. Next slide. Yeah, so this is interesting thing, but under the design process, hiding a lot of thing, a lot of steps and stages, and it's hidden from front-end perspective. I mean that to be designer is it means to start gathering requirement, find stakeholders, organize a lot of workshops, meetings, or interview, and crafting personas, CGMs, and a lot of UX artifacts before we start doing mockups like wireframes and so on. So for us, this is not just a button, but from the developer's perspective, it's another button. Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Like that, and that's all. So the question is to discuss, what do you think? Should developers be interested in designer working process to find this balance, to, I don't know, build this collaboration?
Yeah, because it seems like super unfair for us. We are always interested in what your guys developers do, but we never seen any interest from your side.
Not never.
Yeah, I don't want to be like aggressive, but you know, we are open for discussion here.
Almost never.
Yeah, defense.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for this question. Actually, this is first time when I heard from designers that a developer is not interested in something, because usually we have opposite problem when we cannot access to designs and cannot influence it. And I actually have a lot of stories, like the first one when on one project we develop a kind of common components, the system, and UX team want some unique design, to make unique design. Yeah, and when we propose a new component, sorry, not new. We propose some library that can be reused, and this will dramatically decrease the time to implement this all, because there is already made it patterns. You actually don't need to think a lot, yeah, because you already have something. We faced that no, we don't want to use them. Yeah, on one project we actually achieved this goal, and we reused some common components library, and it was very good, yeah, but not always this working. So from my perspective, developers were very interested in this, because this influences us. And when in the end we are not able to do something, the customer will come to us and say, Artyom, you didn't do this button and these several inputs. Why you didn't do? And my answer is that I don't have design, I have some complicated design. In this particular case, designers decide to change padding only here. Yep, for 10 pixels, yep, instead of 12. Yep, and we spent about 2 hours to make a meeting to discuss with them, and the problems that we live in different time zones. So a lot of. So about developers are not interested in this. I actually don't agree
I have
at
a
all.
common question.
Yeah.
How did you solve this issue last time? Because you said that once you achieved the goal. Can you please specify on this how it was? Like
Yeah, very easy actually. We came to the
designer.
customer. No, actually, when you want to argue with the customer, because the argue with customer, there is what makes sense when you show some numbers. And when you show that we can spend about a month on make some redesign of the common component library, or we can spend about 6 months to implement our own components from scratch. So the customer decide how much money customer have, and based on this, then make a decision. And when customer don't have a lot of money, it works.
Have you ever spoken to designer, like on the early stages on design, like, you know, it seems to be difficult to implement, maybe we will think about more easy to go variants or something?
Yeah, but from our perspective, at least perspective from my team, when we have some complicated design, we don't have a rule that this cannot be made. We have numbers. We have we can do this in a week or in 3 weeks, in a month, in a half of year. And this is not our responsibility to decide do it or not. We get estimations and say to customer, this is your money, this is your decision, what you want to do. We actually like to code. We like to make new screens. Yep. We don't have a problem with this. But problem usually have our customer, because customer don't have a lot of money and cannot spend them all just on making several paddings.
Yeah.
I also have something to add here, because we can see there are two worlds, actually, two big and beautiful worlds. The designer's world is beautiful and it's full of colors, full of composition, and full of perfect design, which actually we can call an eye candy. The developer's world is filled with beautiful code, and when developer takes a look at the code, this is an eye candy. So this is a thing that two major worlds, two eye candies, we just need to make this a big eye candy. And next thing about this conflict is sometimes for some projects, our clients, they tell us, okay, I want this to be working. And sometimes clients say, during the development, they say, okay, it's okay if we don't have a good design right now, we will implement it later. But when the later comes, yes, we need to implement the design for sure, and we need to implement it we need to make it eye candy from the both sides, from the code side and from the designer side. Actually, I think that we all should be interested in the final result. So, because for developer, red means #F00, and for designers, red means
research.
That beautiful red.
No, research.
Yes. So, yes, this is interesting thing. This is interesting, not collision, but collaboration of two eye candies of two worlds.
Well, yeah, I would say that I see a slight problem here, because we do not talk to each other, because, for example, Andrei has problem. Artyom has spoken about client, and designers have spoken about users, but they do not collaborate together. So I think that if they would start from the beginning working together and sharing their concerns, it would be better for client, for users, for product cost, etc. So do you agree?
Artyom, do you have?
This question to me, not Anton.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
good.
I will also.
Both of your names
actually-
start with A. Sorry, I had no choice.
No problem. Actually, you bring very interesting question, because we as developers not always thinking about the UX. So how it would be easier or not easier to use the product. And here it's very good that we have a help from your side. Yeah, because we have on my project a lot of times when so for example, we make the list of items and you need to delete, and I'm as a developer, I always want to have a confirmation, because I'm old, I always click on some things that not should be clicked on this particular time, and delete sometimes things that I don't want to delete. But our UX team make research and they understand that actually we need to make as less as possible clicks. Yep. And so that's why I want to say that we all have our own job. We all have our own stakeholders. So for you, it's mostly users. For us as developers, it's mostly customer. Yep. And based on this, that we have actually various goals, we can achieve something more for all and try to find the win for all, for customer, for users, and for us as workers.
Oh yeah, this is why we need product managers, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to add here that one project's output could be an input for another project. So here we can see the classical situation. We have project that is called coding, and we have project that is called design. And we have a lot of processes behind that. So in the to develop a good application, we need perfect outputs from the code side and from the design side. So my suggestion is, of course, to collaborate, but we all need to understand at which point we should collaborate, because if we will not collaborate at a certain point, there will be conflicts. And this is a good comment from Alex Bychik. He says from the chat, he says that big pain is inconsistency in UX approaches from several designers working on different parts of the application, because people, they could have different vision and they could not be following common style guides, conventions, or even visual representation. I can say totally the same for the coding.
Well,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yes. So if two people are writing on TypeScript, there will be two different TypeScripts. And another thing is that another pain is non-compliance in velocity, when developers should implement features without designers, and they return to previous work when designs are ready. This is totally the situation I spoke about before. That sometimes the client says, okay, I just need this to be working, and after that, okay, so we have a design, so please do the design. So yeah, I absolutely agree with Masha and with Artyom about product manager and project manager are absolutely necessity here if you want to have a good project.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I would like to add a little bit about inconsistency. So on my previous project, I was a person who was responsible for checking designers' work to find this inconsistency and avoid it. So we develop very huge, expanded style guide. We define a lot of patterns. So many things, not just like a component level, but more like logical level. And it was very huge work, but it was a lot of work for inside designer team. And we would like to spread it when we try to spread it to developer side. Some of them even didn't know about this file exists. Our source of truth. We describe everything, and of course we would like to have perfect, almost ideal design and in implementation. So I understand developer who say about inconsistency and so on. Yeah, of course, it can be. It depends on project. It can be when a few designers work without any library and without any collaboration between. But usually at EPAM, I know designers try to collaborate with each other and create a design system and use it. So I hope it will fix in future.
Yes, and this is all about communication.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I'm agree, because soft skills
are important.
Very important. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
We can click to the next slide.
Sure.
Okay. Short, yeah, and
I have
summarize
control,
our
by the way.
experience. Yeah. So here, just 3 points like best practices we can recommend as designers for developers. I don't know, to stick on. So collaborate early and often. It sounds easy, but everybody skips this step. And establish clear communication channel. For example, having weekly meetings where we can show your work to each other, and set clear expectation. So, for example, designer responsible for that, and developers responsible for another, and everybody know who was responsible for what. So,
If you have something to add, feel free to raise your hand, share your experience, or write in comments on YouTube.
Oh, we have
we have
a
one
person.
Oh my god.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I just want to add a few words about this early communication which is necessary between designers and developers. Sometimes, when we're trying to solve some, I'm responsible for design side, by the way. And sometimes when we try to solve some some user's problem using our design, we can design some spaceship, because of our creativity, because we seen some cool feature somewhere, cool design, we also wanted to implement it, And when it comes to development, of course, estimation can be really huge, and as a result, and when we show it to our customers, they can say no, we don't need it, because it's too much, because they need to spend too much money to do that, But in my practice, it was really often when we had a discussion with developers on the early stages, when we describe them that okay, we're not designing this some functionality just because we want it, but we're trying to solve this problem, And really often developers provided some alternative solutions, how we can easily do that in order to do not spend in that much money, time, and all those things, and our effort to develop this stuff, and as a result, maybe it wasn't this beautiful as designers could do that, but as a result, we did it, we solved our users' needs, some of their problems, and that's why this communication is extremely important, and it should be on those early stages, before even we start designing something, we all should discuss the best way how we can design and implement it in the future. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a good one. And I think I will read a message from the chat. A very good question, though. So Nadia asks, have there been cases in your practice when the designer had a super idea and the developers implemented everything in the spirit of well enough? How have you handled this situation? Yeah, I know. You had the situation. So,
I think it's to me. Okay. Well, it's complicated. It happened, but not with me. One of my friends was working on this project. They were working on very nice, fancy restaurant who delivers food, and the design mockups looked incredibly beautiful, and everything was aligned. It was truly a masterpiece of design. And developers, well, they just cut everything in half. And when we were asking why it works like that, the answer was, well, actually it's working. If you will click on this button, it will work. But it looks disgusting, but anyway, it works. So as far as this project was on this MVP zone, the management team has decided that they want to launch at least something, because the development phase was for a year instead of 6 months. That's why they did not have any desire or money that have been left to make these changes. So they just launched, fire the development team, to be honest, and find different. It's not the best example, but this is what can happen, guys, if you will ruin design process. So.
Yeah, I
Why is it
totally,
not
I
best
totally
example?
understand.
I faced the situation when one developer changed the color. It was dark yellow, and they said, "I don't like this color. Sorry." And that's all explanation. So I think the idea to fire someone is not bad.
Well, yeah, but sometimes it's theoretical actually, because sometimes we also saw results in my own experience now when buttons have been changed or corners are slightly different. So actually you're just trying to be polite because you have to work with this person for unlimited period of time. You don't want to be like enemies or something. You just explain why. In case it's not, you just raise this topic on our UX meetings, and that's it. Because in case it's something crucial for the user experience, of course you will fight for this. In case it's something very slightly and developers are experiencing issues with implementing this, you will understand and like, well, okay, it's not a huge problem because we are a team and we have to work as a team.
Yeah, that's true.
I believe that your story about your friend that failed the that participate a project that participate the project that was failed is this is the kind of project where actually the process was broken, because in world when we want a stable delivery of the features, we have strongly defined the process. Yep, and it's normal when first of all designer complete some thoughts and so understand the problem with customer first of all, then discuss with developers how it's possible, how much time it will take, and customer will approve this. Then developer will make, and so the team will make. Not only developer, we also have QA, backend, frontend, whatever. And in the end, I actually see several projects without this way. In the end, usually UX also check what was implemented after QA team.
UX review.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice practice, by the
Very
way.
important step.
Yeah, it's actually a very important step, and I hope, today I shared this link to this video to my project members. I hope they are watching this. And
say hello.
Hello, Curiosity. Yep. So they will understand that we need it. Yep. Because from my project, I heard from head of designers that once on meeting, they said we actually don't see. So I don't have credential to log into our system.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh.
Well, actually, it's high level.
Yeah.
I mean, in
it's-
case designer is interested in what's happened with his
Mhm.
Yeah.
project, it's truly high level.
But you need to understand that even without UX review, the project cannot go successfully.
yeah,
But this step actually is very, very necessary.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we need to proceed to next story.
Okay.
So because so we will track the time. So go ahead.
Okie dokie. The second dollar in my okie dokie jar. So this story is about unsolved task in Jira. For this story, I want you to close your eyes for 5 seconds and just imagine that we have finally sun in our unsunny Kraków. So you can understand Alex, who is main character of this story. And it was a sunny, rare day in Kraków, and Alex was going to make last weeks before release, and he was going to close the last ticket in Jira. Can you imagine this? So he can take a rest, go for a walk with his dog, etc., etc. But suddenly he has noticed that regular inputs that he and his team are used to use for ages, I don't know, in their projects, suddenly has been changed. And it turns out that designer in one of the talks with stakeholders has decided just to change them, but he didn't notify Alex about that, and he cannot now close the task in Jira.
Next slide, please.
Yeah, you have. You have it.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so now we are talking about consistency between design system and code. As I was mentioned before, well-organized designer usually uses their design system, and it looks almost like code, but more beautiful, of course. Yeah, and it consists of a lot of bunch of components, blocks, I don't know, colors, dividers, a lot of things. So, and if we change something inside the system, of course, it will influence on all the mockups which use this library. So it is possible, of course, it's possible when we change, for example, buttons, and it will change as a result mockups, and so it's I think it's usual situation in every product when
I think I'm crying.
angry developer
Don't stop it.
sent me a message. Why the mockup was changed right now? Why it happened? I need to close this task, and so on. So it's very interesting topic for me.
And complicated. I never heard before. Like few years later, I learned out that developers have their own code system, and for me it was like mind blowing. Like wow. So is it true? Like wow.
Yeah.
But how to keep our design systems in consistency?
No way.
I know you're feeling bro. Okay, yeah. So I was in that situation several times, and the thing is here, it's the work of project manager here, just to make sure that all the changes in design systems, they are reflected at least in Jira. So I was in a situation when I needed to implement quite complicated, quite complex component, and the design suddenly changed, and there were actually no version history in design system. And the client on the demo, he said, okay, but it looks totally different. And I was like, wow, but it was on our previous demo, the design was like this. So actually we've got on the same ground very soon, but here it was a task for our project manager that if there are something changed in the design, it should be reflected in Jira. Like, hey, so yes, you did it, but this is a task for you to redesign it.
Even like if I change corners from 16 to 14?
Yes. Yes, it should.
Oh my
it should
God!
be. Yes, it should
Oh
be.
yes. Okay. Wow. Yes.
It should be reflected. It should be reflected, so we can track. First of all, we can track the history, and the next thing is that developers will understand that something's changed, because developers' eyes are about to find problems with code, and again, for developers, the code is red is hash F00. So if you change it from F00 to, I don't know, to something pinkish red, so for developers it needs to be, okay, change F00 to F03, for example. Yes, so it should be reflected definitely in Jira.
What's about
It's
complicated?
minimum in Jira.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's not enough, to be honest.
Yeah,
we
me
need to
too.
have some, I don't know, maybe some meetings where designer present a weekly meeting, for example, where designer team can present all changes and for developers.
I totally agree that it's a question of communication. So we need to put it, and we need to be as much transparent as we can, because there are two teams of professionals, like designers who make eye candy, and developers who make perfect code. So yeah, of course we need to talk, and we need to communicate through our project channels.
Okay, I see the problem. Actually, we make a big mistake because we forget to call any project manager on today's event.
Yeah.
And this is usually why we need managers on the projects,
Exactly.
leads, and so on,
We
because
could
they
just blame them.
first of all, we can blame them in all issues. Yep, and when customer come and say you fail something, you can
It's
say
like, it's
that
him.
This,
It's him.
yep, it's
Yeah.
not me, it's
It's
Kate.
not me.
Yep,
Yeah.
Kate.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
It's
Kate, you know,
Kate.
just Kate.
Yeah, it's not my problem. Yeah, this is the first issue, and the second issue that in my story, how okay, first of all, when we're talking about such minor issues that reflect the whole application, first of all, we need to understand what kind of project we have. Yeah, because if we have some small project, actually, no one care that you change this padding. We just make it in several months, deploy and forget about this. That's all. No need to change padding from 10 to 12 pixels. Just forget. It start to make money for the customer, and that's all. If I have some big project that's going through the time, that's working for, so from my example, we have a project that's working about 20 years, and then we start migration it from, so for developers would be more understandable when the project is making with Java with GSP. So it's when particular any click on UI will trigger render of the page. So when you try to add something, try to delete something, particular every time you will refresh the page. This is pain, and we make the transfer to single page application, and we actually have very nice KB page where all we don't have designs for each case. We have defined process and how they need to be transferred from old UI to new UI. Yep, this is one of the cases how it can be possible. And if we go back and talking about the particular these paddings and so on, colors, there is very good practice when you make something like a storybook. You actually don't have so when your designer make a design, they don't say you make the color hash 0000 and so on. Yep, they say we have a red color, use it. Red, light red, black red, I don't know, dark red. Yep, and so we have consts and use them. And when you want to change something, so from UX experience, this actually very easy. You just start to use other tokens. If you want to change for all application, no problem. We make search and replace this with this token.
If you use token.
Yes.
If you use token.
Yes.
Yep. And yes, this is maybe a question to developers. When you make your application, if it's big enough and you understand that you need to support it for a long time, you need to think how to design it. So
Exactly.
what to use, what system to use, and if you just this is one of your first projects, I strongly recommend you to find some templates for the application. So there's a lot of free templates, and they already think about this, that you have several colors and you have several themes. You can change them, and your components will reflect this when you change it.
Yes. Design tokens, just start using it by Mikola Garion. Yeah.
Mikola.
Yes. I totally agree. And why and about design tokens, there is a very good question from Alex Bychik. So have you ever tried some kind of A/B testing in design UX approach? And if yes, what was the developer's attitude to such thing? I mean, implement the same functionality into versions. So yeah, this is where design tokens come to the scene. So yeah, so maybe I think it's question to Artyom.
So actually we don't have some A/B testing like, so I don't have experience when we try to make colors, something like this, and then see how it will impact users. We usually, so on my previous projects, we make a kind of various flows how user will behave, and then analyze these flows using our logs. Can we accept such answer?
I think yes. And do you have such an experience with AB?
In my experience, no. I'm looking forward to it, by the way, but no, never had something similar before. Lee, do you have?
I was involved in a very big team which are have this experience with A/B testing, but I'm not an expert in this area. Yeah, to be honest, we as designers we try to, of course, check our hypothesis because every time design based on some hypothesis, and of course we need to check it with our end users. But it ask them to do some action, and we just look at what they do, what they say during this process, how it's easy and not easy for them, and so on. So it's not like A/B testing; it's just checking is this flow is working or not working.
I heard a joke that designers that work in Google, they have big meetings. So you can ask Googlers and then provide us information. Is it true? Yep. So they make two colors of. They make two designs for button and two colors for them. So for one person's one color, and for another person's, for some reason, didn't know why, a darker color of button to send the email. Yep, and make A/B test to test what is more preferable. Yep. So this may be a question to you. So you need to ask: is it true from them? What was the result of this? And then share in comments on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I can tell you a short story about A/B testing. In one of my projects, and I was there as PM/BA, there was such a requirement from AB, and we agreed on at which point we will stop doing A/B testing. We will stop making tests on living people. So this could be a problem, and Alex is totally right that at some point when we try to make it like a lot of effort, to put a lot of effort on them. So definitely we need to create two applications, but of course not. And in the most cases, A/B testing, it's more about design, it's more about different UX, but of course there are some A/B testing with some different functionality. So at this moment, we need to understand when we need to make a decision and when we need to stop supporting two versions.
Yeah.
So
may I just add a little bit to it? Sometimes A/B tests are not very good solution for long terms.
Exactly.
Because we cannot assume how people will behave just based on these two colored buttons. Sometimes they will leave our site because it's badly designed, not because the button is dark yellow or something. So for short term, it's cool, but for long term, it's better to analyze their UX flow.
Yeah, I totally agree, because we need to maintain their development strategy, how the product will evolve. We need to maintain it, and the direction should be one.
I believe that here, who was asking? Alexei? Alexander? Alexei,
Alex
waiting for some steps from us. Yep. And what we all here agree is that A/B test for long perspective is not very good. So they need some time to be catered and use only one scene.
Exactly.
And I believe that usually your customer, your designers cannot just make a decision, and that's why they asking for making A/B test. But actually, you can try to say to your customers that we don't need A/B test here, just make this and that's all. Or if you already start to make an A/B test, you need to define the steps. When we finish, what data we need, and when we will stop this, and then make a decision what step from these 2, 3, 5 or more we will choose as one for all.
And what do we measure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we can
Like,
evaluate
it's from
it.
design
Yeah.
perspective.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Gotcha.
I remember some very funny story. It was a lot of years ago. I work on some company. I cannot say the name. Yeah,
And
but it was a story about A/B testing.
Something about fruits.
Something about something about A/B testing.
Okay.
So it was
Okay.
a task for design team. Every designer create the same page, but with different visual approach, and we try to A/B test it, and after that variant which was a winner, very surprised everybody because it's from the design perspective it was the worst variant. Not beautiful, I don't know. No aesthetical, and we I don't understand
But
why.
you need to understand that when we make A/B test, so we need to prepare two versions of the application actually. Not two versions of application, but at least two versions of page.
Yes.
And you need to
Yeah, it
understand
was
that
a few versions of page.
the team will work on this and customer will waste your money. And actually, we need to find a balance between making A/B every time and just making the pages and that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
And also
Because you're, sorry,
go ahead.
because your
Competitors.
thank you, competitors, they actually can make not beautiful solution, and they will win
Yeah.
when you making A/B testing or prepare to make A/B testing.
Sometimes guerrilla test would be more preferable. Like it's when you just ask your team, like, can you take a look? It's better developers because they can say, oh, I cannot do that, or can. No offense.
So need to analyze.
Yep.
Yes.
All the time. So may I add just one story from my experience to, I mean, we already changed topic a little bit, but I just like to return back. When I just joined Google, we have there, you all know, material design, but material design is also divided into small design systems inside. I hope it's public information.
It's public.
Thanks God. So, and when I was assigned for a project, we had very limited time. It was just 6 months. And the question how we can keep consistency. So I just talked with developers before I started any design drafts. And they told me like, you know, actually we already have in code this design system. I will not call it by name. And if it's okay for you, we can just use this. This will simplify the process for you, for us, for project. And actually, we just use already coded design systems they used. And we launched the project in time.
Okay.
Collaboration.
Yes, communication and collaboration.
And use existing.
I think it's just like we already know the answer. How to learn
Actually,
each
I
other.
like very much that we talking about such high-level problems.
Yeah.
But sometimes with this collaboration and design systems, we have very, very low-level issues. Like we have design from UX and start to implement it. And when we already implement it, and there is just need to make unit tests, something like this. Yep, deploy your application. Yep. In this time, we get a new design.
Okay,
that is completely new.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No. This is actually not a problem in UX team. I believe this is the problem when we don't have a manager. Yep. And when actually we can work without manager, we don't have a process.
No, we can't. We need Kate to blame her.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need Kate to blame here. Okay. Very good. Thank
There
you.
can be a lot of problem in. Okay, for example, my last project, I try to approve my design for 4 months, but I cannot approve it because of stakeholders be on vacation.
Approved by stakeholders.
Approved by stakeholders.
Yeah.
But we have a team assigned to
months.
this project.
2
months. For 2 months. For 2 months.
For
But it's
2
quite
months.
long. 2 months. It's
Okay.
long.
Well,
It's
4
long.
months is like
It's
a long
long.
vacation,
Yeah.
you know.
We have assigned a developer team, a QA team, a lot of people. Yeah, and they need to work because we have a deadline. And what we can do? They start implement my design without approval.
And what happened?
Ba 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 ba.
The most interesting part, yeah.
And when my assignment is finished, so,
Okay,
it's
but
very interesting.
Why do you
because-
need? Why they need to start to implement something without the approval of the design? Because
Because of
they have some
contract
deadlines.
was signed, I think. Yeah, so the budget was
Uh-huh.
limited.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know.
For a second,
lot
I
of-
would be a captain.
Okay.
First, you need to confirm. You need to have a Jira timeline with all vacations. All your stakeholders should notify for a month before the vacation.
It's
What
not about
else?
just vacation.
if-
It's about stakeholders, maybe their
Yeah, if stakeholder
ability to
have
take
a
responsibility.
vacation, yep, stakeholder should make a mail for all projects that
So do you understand how it finished as a result?
sorry?
Do you interested in how
Yep,
it
very
finished?
interested.
Yeah.
Very. Okay, okay. Please proceed.
Let's proceed the story. Okay, so as a final, the team, stakeholders team with branding team, take a look at this mockups when my assignment is finished. So
Mhm.
it was maybe the third month of this project,
Mhm.
and they take a look and say, "Wow, it's great! It's very cool."
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is
And
happily ever
everybody,
after.
everybody was happy.
But do
Yes.
not do
Yeah,
this.
was happy.
It's not cool.
Yeah, it's not cool. But
Actually,
in this special case, it works. I don't know how.
actually, in this case, so from the development state of point, we as developer, we actually have a lot of problems with understanding how to split the business model and transfer it to a development model.
Into
Yep.
code.
Into code. Yep. Into database, into SQL.
Architecture.
Yep. Okay. To make architecture. Yep. And when we have UX that already make a design and make a full flow, how it will happen, based already on this, developer team can start and make something. And then if changes from your stakeholder wouldn't be very big, it already would be a very help for developers because they start and already make something.
Yeah.
So
So they decided to
it's-
start. Yeah.
it's tricky question and it doesn't have a strong answer. Should we start to work on designs that is not approved?
Wha-
There
in-
is-
But we can.
I'm not
Okay.
sure that actually we can. I mean, in case
Can.
it's not confirmed.
No, we can.
There is
Sure.
a definition of done of epic. Really? So we have
Okay.
epic design and
Google
definition of done.
what is definition of done and definition of ready.
Yeah.
This what would be asked on your next assessment. Believe me.
Yes, and quite nice life hack from Natasha Savchenko. So weekly doesn't work. Daily rules on our current project. I hope it's not under NDA. We have only 2 daily meetings, one with design teams and developers, another one with the whole team and the stakeholders. So the best way to check that your design implemented correctly, just ask developer to share his screen and go with him together step by step. Yes, it also could be. It's some sort of a checkpoint for that. Yeah, it could be a nice thing.
So they, sorry, I didn't get. They make a call, designer with developers, and
The whole team with stakeholders.
Okay, why not?
Yeah, yeah. So that's I told that.
Yeah.
It's nice experience.
There is okay. We all heard about Kanban, about Scrum, about
Nexus.
whatever ban, and so on. Forget about this.
And
If
what
something
about
working for
renewable?
you and you're productive, this is your way. You can say, and on I don't know next assessment interview, you would be asked, what process do you have? You can say we have agile,
Mhm.
and that's all.
Copy that.
Okay, and yeah. So another thing is that Mikolai just increases the heat a little bit, and we have new challenges approached. So we have a backend. For example, what if the designer and the frontend agree to use a particular design solution, but the backend doesn't like this approach and convinces the customer of the opposite direct decision? So So in general, backend doesn't care about the design, but sometimes, for example, the client says, okay, I want this dashboard with that particular set of data, and the backend says, oh, you know, if we will, I don't know, if we will do this, if we will implement this particular widget, we will have big problems. And so we have all designs approved. We have this already almost already implemented. But the backend says, oh, this is a big problem, because if I would make it, this will cost us a lot of money, because we'll have a lot of troubles.
In defense for developers, when I was working for American startup, we had backend as well. And it was the issue when I was designing something and front-end developers were like, wow, that's super cool, we are going to do this. And then on demos, backend raised his hand, and I was hating him for this moment. And he ruined all of this, because he said, like, we have some technical background that are not allowed us to implement this design. And I think the issue is that no one considered backenders like what they can do. They just sitting somewhere in the chair, typing like is their code or something.
Yes, and the thing here is that backend convinces the customer of the opposite decision.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah, so that's why I told you about the dashboard, because yes, I was in that situation.
High five.
High five. Yeah, so in that case, it is a standard procedure called change request. So in that case, there should be a fight between a representative of developers, designers, and backends, and they should prepare some arguments and with timelines, with estimations. For example, if we want to implement this particular functionality, then it will require us, for example, 1 week from the backend side and a couple of days from front-end side, and I don't know, 1 week from designers. But if we want to change it somehow, so this will cost us this amount of time. So yeah, so things like this happen. I totally agree, Mikolai.
Actually, in this case, we need to know the exact case, because usually on one of my projects, we have such situation where report prepared for about 30 minutes. And what we did, okay, you load some page, load dashboard, and we just show that, sorry, we're calculating to be done in 30 minutes. So I don't think that we can say that something is impossible. Usually it just takes a lot of resources, and we don't have these resources, but we usually know how to find the way how to, I don't know, how to avoid, how to make this, but maybe with delay.
Yeah. Yes.
We all agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a screen with free best practices.
Short recap.
Short recap.
Wait a second. Boom.
Doesn't work, just a second.
Oh my gosh. Boom.
Yeah.
So about weekly UX meetings, I hope it's clear for everybody, but I would like to stay on this reverse design from code. So what is mean? The main idea is to have kind of reverse design meeting with designers and developers to examine a layout or component closely and find difference between implementation and between design, and decided what will be better, to change design or change implementation in code. So it's not just about every time ask developers to change their implementation. Sometimes it will work in another reverse side, and we can change some components and using already implement components.
So I think this is a nice call for designers, because we used to defend for our designs, but sometimes it's better to try to think as developers. Maybe for them it's better, easy a little bit to make this button, sorry for using button example all the time, instead of forcing them to make changes.
Yeah.
Well, and of course sharing source culture, it's for Mikolai, because I don't know, maybe this developer felt abandoned, and with no culture and open atmosphere, it's very hard to share your thoughts because we designers might be very harsh sometimes, and it's very hard to argue with us.
Yes, create a culture for sharing thoughts. It's vital for everything, for every project, and for all the teams, not just designers.
It's actually a separate theme about the making the culture. And it's very nice when in your company you have developer culture, when all developers, so not only developers, all people in your team, they understand that they making some product and want to make this product better. Because in this way we can make our product maybe 1% better in one particular case, but in some it would be 10%, 50%, and that's all. Yep. So very nice topic too.
Yeah,
Maybe next time.
maybe next
Maybe
time.
next time.
Just a
yeah, we
second.
have
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
one
next
more.
story,
Yes.
Sorry.
Let's move to next story.
the last one,
But not the
and
least.
this is the most horror story about client demo. Meet Natalia. This is our designer, and
She's very nice.
yeah,
She's-
she is.
beautiful.
I was
Yeah.
a reference, so
And she can speak ampersand. I cannot spell ampersand correctly.
yeah, you can see her emotions like without
Yeah.
saying anything. So, development team spent very hard, like truly hard months trying to implement design. And during the demo, they were so proud to share results. And Natalia suddenly saw that some mockups and some designs are not quite what she did and confirmed. And Natalia currently in a very confusing situation because she wants to say something, but she's not quite sure whether she needs to say something.
During the demo.
Yeah, of
Client
course.
demo.
So, and this brought us to the next topic.
Yeah, so I expect here very hot discussion.
I didn't get fully. So she need to say something.
No,
She wants,
she
because
wants.
look
Only
at
wants.
really
this.
wants to say.
Yeah, sorry, I have to show you this again. Yeah,
Mhm.
apologize
Yeah.
for this design. Actually, it's mine.
This is not even
A few
close.
years ago, and it's not what
Okay.
was confirmed. So,
Mhm.
and she's afraid that client will notice this as well, and
And
she
she's
believes-
upset, of course.
Yeah, because it's
and
not what she done.
frustrated.
I can start the discussion if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
yeah. Please start
Yeah,
the
so,
discussion.
because I was in such a situation actually.
Oh,
And yeah, the thing here is that Natalia told that, okay, so Natalia can tell, okay, so yeah, this is not the final version of the design, so, and we will implement the design later, so yeah, we can tell, but in case if the client will notice that.
well, we hope.
Yes, so
Yeah.
yeah, in that case we can always tell that, hey, this is not the final version, so this is the work in progress, so please focus on functionality. But yeah, this in our not ideal world, this happens.
How to talk, for example, how to tell developers that their work is not the best one, because when it comes
I
to
think not during the
Sorry,
demo.
well, yeah,
developers'
I
work
think
is not the best.
during the demo. That's right. But how to tell? Because developers used to be like very gentle, and
Mhm.
This is the case when we need Kate.
Just a second.
We say to Kate that this all is
we
very
need
bad.
Kate as volunteer. Someone? No. Okay.
We say this all to Kate, and then Kate will say this all your feelings, but in more polite way to developers.
So, so the thing here is, in case if this situation occur, not in case, but when this situation
Mhm.
occur, the thing is that it could be a meeting with designers, and designers can tell, okay, so what is our roadmap here? So yeah, what we implemented, it's a good for demo, but not for the final product. And this again, it could be a good fight, between designers and fight, of course, between designers and developers. And as a result, it could be a roadmap with some epics and some Jira tasks or whatever you use, Jira Organizer, whatever you use. So yeah, so all of those inconsistencies, they should be resolved via communication. And the result of this communication could be a set of tasks that, okay, we need it. Or, for example, the client said, okay, yeah, it looks good for me, so, well, we will do it maybe sometimes.
Never.
And for the designers, it will be a total frustration. I totally understand that designers spend a lot of time on that. And from my perspective, in this case, this could be done in the next release. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Where is the phase of UX review that is coming before the demo?
Yeah, great question.
Because there wasn't
in this situation, it wasn't any.
It wasn't, okay.
Yeah.
But demo in our tech world, this is actually not just to show and say to developers, you're very good, you're very nice, thank you. Yeah. No, this is the process, and this is the serious process where you show your work and customer accept this. And
Yeah.
it's actually normal when you as customer representative, you say to customers that, okay, I have several doubts. Let we think then later, talk with the customer, say, okay, this is my design, this is what we have. I agree with this. And see, these paddings, these buttons, this flow, and what we have in design. This is normal process. So when on demo you see that something is not properly made, demo is this actually phase where you can say that this is not we expect, because when the users see this, this is awful.
Yeah.
This is the moment where we already fail. But demo, it's okay. It's okay to find something on demo. It's actually it's very bad that we find this only on demo.
Only on demo.
Yeah, but it's okay.
But I think we should behave like one team. So designers plus front-end plus dev team, we are all one team. And if we started during the demo this fight, so I think if I were Natalia, it would be very difficult for me, but I will keep calm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's MVP.
and smile. Yeah.
I believe it all depends on your soft skills. If you can, in polite way, say that something is wrong, why not? If you cannot do it, fine, delegate this task to someone who can. And this is the answer. Easy. 2 steps. Make it by yourself or delegate this task. That's all.
Or don't do it.
Actually, this can be applied for any process and anything in this world.
In almost any process. In almost any process.
Okay.
But yeah, I totally agree. And in this case, so the general idea here from my perspective is to make all the efforts to go to the result, to define the result and to make all the efforts to go to the result. This is actually an anti-crisis management superpower. So we can define, anti-crisis manager can define a problem, can define a result, and to build a roadmap. So the classical way.
We need to invite Agile community next time
Good idea.
to solve such questions.
Good idea. Okay. Yep. So we have some
Comments.
chats. Yes. So Natalia said all names are made up and all coincidents are coincidental, and they, of course. And Nadia told us 2 daily meetings only with designers, poor front-end developers. I suppose all the data mocked on the client without API requests. Yep. So in this case, it will be a good motivation to make it more efficient, so the meetings will end up earlier and we have extra coffee. Yep. Oh, and Natalia would like to invite Anton to our project. He knows the solution. Looks like you got an offer for another project.
It's VR.
Yeah.
Find me in LinkedIn
Yes.
Artem,
and send me
No. To a
Artem, you can
project in
delegate
EPAM.
it to someone.
and send
Join
your
into this project.
how's the name?
Offer.
Offer. Yep.
Okay, so Natalia,
I'm waiting for job offer.
not in LinkedIn, but in Teams.
With yearly bonuses,
Teams,
by the way.
yes.
Don't
Anyway.
forget to write this note.
Okay,
Huh?
Yearly bonuses.
bonuses.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So our meetings are, as you can see, are very convenient and very good. So you don't know where you can find your next project. Okay. Yeah. So we have several comments that are about different topics. So our do we have anything from the auditorium?
Maybe you would like to
you want
share
to ask
your
something?
experience.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, we have, thank you, very beautiful page.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Best practice.
like
Slide
few
is best
pages
practice.
has been left. Yeah, wait a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so best practices.
Yeah, so we touch this topic, but I can say again the importance of soft skills and conflict management. So this is during this demo, we need to act like one team and support each other,
as a
of
team.
course. And to avoid such situation, of course, we need to conduct a regular design review before demo. So it's crucial part, and don't skip it,
Yep.
please.
And I would like to add,
Yeah.
learn by your mistakes. And you have, that's why we have
And
retros.
mistakes others, not
Ex-
only your mistakes.
Exactly. Truly, totally agree. Yes. So
All our mistakes.
yes, retros, lessons learned. But of course, there are no ideal projects. Every time we will have some troubles, and actually not some, but everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So lessons
true.
learned, and I totally agree with soft skills, conflict management, and communication. Act as a team. Yes, this is one of EPAM's value. Conduct regular design review. Totally agree.
Yeah. So don't you mind if we will just do a short recap of all the stories with highlighted advices from our characters, because eventually the stories ended very well. No one was hired, by the way, and everything was launched successfully. Okay.
I would appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay. So, recap. First things first, collaborate early and often. And this is a call for designers and developers as well. Do not hesitate to invite developers into your working discussion while you gather requirements, talk to stakeholders, because it might be technical limitation as well. And as early you can get them, it's better for you to collaborate. And special call for developers, do not sleep on these calls, because it's you who are going to implement this. This is kind of important. So weekly UX meeting might be exhausting, as someone in comments has said. However, it might be very useful because you keep things updated all the time and you see the progress in your UX meeting roadmap. And the last but not least, thanks EPAM, blah, 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 but great products were made by great teams. Don't forget that you are a part of a huge team, that the best of the best. And yeah, this is my favorite slide.
Okay. Yes, that was a good one. Yeah. Yeah. So I have several questions from the chat.
Okay.
We still have time. So so Irene Ginger asks, what do you think about the next situation? The client's designers still work in Photoshop and your team not. How should it be resolved? And the next question is, I think it's connected to the previous one, when it's suitable to use interactive designed mockups and when developed prototype. So your opinion.
Oh, why
Oh,
me?
you want to be first? Okay. The first question is about Photoshop.
Yeah,
wow.
Photoshop.
Wow, that's like tough.
To be honest, I really like
Is it?
Photoshop.
You like?
Yeah, I like it
Wow.
because it was my first
Okay.
program.
Let's go.
Many years ago. It was my first program when I started work as a designer. So
Okay.
uh,
So So
sentimental.
respect. I got this. I got this.
We can actually rephrase this question.
Rephrase.
And, no, we can not rephrase. We can ask the question to Irin.
Iran.
Yep.
Yeah, Iran.
And what's the problem with Photoshop? Why don't you
Sorry.
like how UX team make their work? They don't say you anything about that you're working with Angular, and why you're not making your project with React or with Vue. Yep. So, if you have any problems, so for example, in Figma we can much easier copy some values. So highlight these.
It's no. The question was, as far as I understand, about a little bit different thing. So we are using Figma, and our client designers, they are using Photoshop. So we are using totally two different systems.
They can't collaborate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So in this,
in this way, it's
Okay, then
Very
I don't
gap.
understand. So
Well,
they
I
make a
can
design in
collaboration.
Photoshop,
Yes.
and what happened then? They converted to Figma or how?
oh my god.
Lee, as expert, will explain us how Photoshop works because I have no idea.
the thing in this case, because I a long time ago when I was working in a web studio, I saw designs made in Microsoft Word.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So the thing
How
here,
old are
Winner.
you?
so the thing here is that we need to define actually definition of done. So how we can accept in which format. For example, in Photoshop, you can easily just copy paste CSS. You can copy. You can cut your design into small pieces and just give it to us. So it could be possible if, in that case, if the designers from the client side, if they will copy paste the CSS, if they will cut to the pieces and send us. But in my opinion, the format and the software should be defined in the beginning of the project. And in that case, if designers said, okay, I won't work in Figma because I don't like it, I love Photoshop. So in that case, it could be a good thing to delegate their, I don't know, CSS.
Anton,
So
sorry,
they will
I need to interrupt you and jump in this conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Was-
Please
to
do.
be serious, yeah, it's very a big, it's a gap between these two programs. So I understand the pain of designers who use Figma and suddenly they need to, I don't know how to work with these Photoshop files, because if we, I don't know, it's so a lot of thing about this. So we could start from the beginning here, and it will last for 1 hour. Yeah. But the main problem is that if we have design system, we need to work as minimum in Figma. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to add something?
I want to add just a few comments about that. So I'm in the same situation like recently. It wasn't like that dramatically when we needed to change like from Photoshop to Figma. It was like from Sketch to Figma. Yeah, but I suppose the approach is the same. So like we have this situation when we have a designers from client side which are working in some like old tool, yeah, which they are familiar with, yeah, and customer doesn't work to change something because like those designers, they want to work in this tool, yeah. And what we should do, we should be like a
Sorry,
friend.
they don't want to work because they don't want to learn
Because
something
they-
new.
Yeah, they don't know how to
it's-
do that.
it's
This
okay,
is,
yeah.
This is the main reason usually, yeah. And we should be like those like friends to them, like to show them, to educate those designers first, yeah, how to use this tool. Because if it be like the input from their side to customers, like, hey, we all right now know Figma, we want to work on it, yeah, it will be much easier to sell the idea to switch all designs to new tool to customers. Of course, we can add some numbers, how easily it will be like in the future with implementation, how faster we will be doing our like designs and all those things, yeah, but the main idea is like step by step educate those designers from client side and show them like how they can use this tool, like to have this interest from their side to learn something new and show them it's not like something crucial and difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very good good case when actually people don't want to use something more productive because they don't want to learn something new. and especially in
And
this
it needs
case,
it needs
in
time.
free time.
Mhm.
Yep. So when I can go to with my friends to, I don't know, to somewhere. Yep. And instead of this, I need to learn Figma. Yep. It's very good case. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and actually Irene explains that client refuses to purchase a license and send only JPEG files to devs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so in this case,
It's a
please,
deal
Why?
breaker.
please
Deal
correct me
breaker.
if I'm wrong, but in this case we won't accept that because we cannot guarantee and we cannot deliver a good result
Mm.
with such
Mhm.
a source. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Good
Come
point.
back when you will
Yeah.
switch to Figma. Like.
Okay, okay.
What's the second question was about?
The second question was quite interesting. When it's suitable to use interactive designed mockups and when developed prototype?
Oh, may I answer this
Of
one?
course.
This is one of my favorite topics, to be honest, because I do love conducting demo for my clients. Once I realized that people do not think the way I think, it started to be very easy to convince them that my design decision is great and it's better to take this. I will explain, don't laugh. When you're trying to show something just to mock-ups, people don't get it. It's not because they're stupid, it's just they think another way. They cannot get abstractive from what you are going to show them. That's why clickable prototypes are the best way from my own perspective all the time. Even if you're working on a small feature, it's better to make a prototype and present it the way it should work in ideal world. Because of course developers will come with their comments or client will say something about your mockups, but at least they will get the point, and this is the most exciting and important part of our design process, to sell the idea, because we're not just designers and developers, we sell ideas.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree. And also different stages mean different methods. Okay, yeah, so the last question from the chat, and it's totally different, and after that we will move to your stories. Maybe you can tell a story. So also Nadia asks, what's the funniest problem in production that happened because of a design mistake? Forgetting the login button doesn't count.
The funniest scene about this, I heard there was some project related to VR, and they make, I don't remember, something like, okay, some environment, yep. And when they complete the work, so, okay, you put on the scenes, start to work with these, and they understand in the end when they have a client demo that they forget to make an exit button.
Okay.
So you can interact, you can do whatever you want, but in this VR application you cannot exit.
There is no exit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
Yeah,
I'm
so
just thinking, it's like there is a button and controllers
yeah.
when you just can quit.
Yes, but you need to
Yep.
restart the application.
Yeah, so you close fully the application, but you
Ah.
cannot go to menu,
Okay.
Yeah.
and close it.
So yeah, so in this case it's a totally user journey problem. Yeah, it's
Sometimes happens.
sometimes.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Of course,
Old but gold.
yes. Do you have such problems in
No,
production?
I have a pretty boring design life.
I had but it was long time ago. So we had a design, and it was some funny, just for example, some funny words, but of course they should not be intended to go in production, and I don't know, some joke, and guess what?
Offensive?
Huh?
Offensive joke?
No, not that offensive. There
No.
was a quite popular meme with two guys, and
But it was
they
in production, yeah.
yes,
Ah.
yes, and we asked actually people from we gave it to outsource and people who did not speak our language, and they implemented it exactly as it was. That was fun.
Yeah. It's usual situation when a designer use some text. This text doesn't mean anything, just a text.
Mhm.
And after it became on production after sometimes. So
Happy we have right now ChatGPT, and we
Yeah.
can generate some meaningful text.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
I think it's cool because before that I used to have Rick and Morty Lorem Ipsum. It's like
Uh-huh.
Lorem Ipsum, but it's based on Rick and Morty
Oh.
stories.
Why not?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that we are done with the stories. Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good job.
Yeah.
High five. We did this.
So maybe some of you would like to tell us a story, and you know the most interesting story, the person who tell us the funniest story.
Okay, it was like really quite funny. You know what wireframes is, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
of
It's
course.
like just like draft version,
Uh-huh.
those black squares with some lorem ipsum text and all those things, yeah. And once we did a clickable prototype with those wireframes, now developers asked us to share it with them, yeah, in order to understand how they can build the layouts, how can they like in the future develop this tool. But it was some kind of misunderstanding. And as a result, they developed those wireframes. Yeah, it was like absolutely crazy as for me when I realized that like in 2 weeks they said, "Okay, we did it." Yeah, I asked, "Did what?" Because we didn't design it yet. Yeah, we did it. We developed it, and it was like really developed those like wireframes, which is like really crazy and funny stuff.
Did you make screenshots for history?
Maybe I don't know. It's like
It's under NDA.
yeah, it's
Wow.
under NDA. I can show you.
Anyway,
Whoa.
Yeah,
hilarious.
but it was like it's like real story. Yeah, thanks.
But sometimes
That's-
when you create white and black design, not wireframes design, some developers ask, this is wireframes or final design?
It's like a concept.
Yeah.
Nice.
No,
Okay.
very nice.
Maybe not funny story, but my situation.
Okay.
Actually, I had this situation 2 times in 2 different companies. Actually, the UX team used to make the design and deliver it in HTML, CSS, and only the front end, which is me, work on functionality, and after or up to most before the demo, okay, what did you do with the design? Fix everything, okay, go for the demo. Also, it happened two times. So for me, it was so shocking to start from the Figma, HTML, CSS, and everything. So maybe a bad story for a bad situation for me, but yeah, it was different situation. That's
I understand.
but
Okay.
I think designer maybe need to deliver something in CSS, HTML also, so they can make some bridge between front end and design. So in more critical situation for the demo, they can save the situation before it. That's it.
Okay. Did you communicate with designers? Like, is there any possibility for you to communicate together before you
Yeah,
get?
we communicate. We take the input from them, but there was no Figma. The Figma, it was secret for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they just deliver everything in HTML, CSS, and me as front end. Actually, I'm skillful in it, but not design from scratch like they want. And after implement all my feature, all my functionality, they just make final check up about if everything in S place or not. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that good?
Hmm?
I
Well,
think
I think this is the case. If it worked out well, we can call it good.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your story.
Yes, thank you for the story. Yeah. Okay. I think we don't have any time left for the story. So thank you very much. That was a good one. Yeah. So the funniest part is quiz.
Can we participate?
Of course. Of
Can we
course.
stay
Show
here?
it.
Should we go?
I'm
As
ready.
you wish, you can
Okay.
participate. So, pull up your mobile phones. Could you please switch the screen off for a couple of minutes?
Switch off, like
Switch off.
Okay.
Thanks. So, just a second. As you wish. As you wish. Could you please turn the screen on? Yeah. So, sorry. This is Kahoot. And yes, as always, you know what to do. Please scan the QR code, enter the game pin.
I just showed the instruction for.
And we are waiting for players. No spam, of course. Okay. Okay. So, do we have everyone? Not everyone. Okay, we have 9 people. Someone else? Okay.
Remember that we have some gap for our YouTube
Yeah.
participant.
Yeah, that's what. So we have 17 people. Nice. Okay, so I think not. We cannot start. And before, while people are joining, there is a final question from the chat. Could you tell some kind of blessing in disguise situation when, from the first glance, situation was totally failure but turned into success at the end? I mean, maybe ugly design ended up as a success. Yeah, I was in that situation. So we just created a mock, actually wireframe, and it was in ugly rectangles. And we came to the client and we showed it to the client, and he said, "Oh my God, you created in Metro. It's an interface for Windows for Microsoft platforms. Oh, how did you know that? I love it." So yeah, that was a such a story. Okay, so I think we can go. So yep, the Kahoot, the quiz, the panel discussion quiz. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So, as always, our questions, what will be displayed in the console? Yes. Okay, answers. Okay. Still have time. Okay, yeah, so the answer is 8. That was pretty simple. So, anyone can explain why the answer is 8? So yeah, so we just have two numbers, and we just add them up, and we don't care about the default values because we passed all the values. Okay. Go ahead. So, Jane, awesome, mashup. Okay, and Artyom, so our heroes. Okay, what will be displayed in the console? A little bit different. So yeah, we need to remember what arguments hold. The arguments array. What does it hold? You left me alone. So 14 answers, 15 answers so far. Yeah, the answer is undefined. So, yeah, I think for some of you it was a little bit unexpected. So, show media. So, everyone can explain why it's so? Why it is undefined?
Index 2, that's why I didn't send the...
Yeah, but the thing here is we have full of 1 and we don't have b here. So arguments 1, it sets a because argument 0 holds the name of the function. Yeah, so we are correct. Okay, great. Going next. So Katerina comes to the first place. Okay. So what will be displayed in the console again? So is true equals true equals 1 is false is true equals 0 and is true plus is false. Yeah, JavaScript is a magical language that can actually allow us to do things like this. And pay attention that we have 2 equal signs, not 3. Maybe this will help you. So still yeah, that was not the easiest one. But please don't do this in production. Okay. Of course it will be 1. Anyone can explain why it is 1? So the thing is that this will be true and true will be 1 and this will be false, so it is 0. So is true plus is false, it will be 1 plus 0, so that's why it is 1. But yeah, please don't do this on production. Okay, So, yeah, Katerina is on the top, Masha and IG. Okay, let's move forward. What will be displayed in the console? Oh yeah, this is a good one. 5 more than 3 more than 1, triple equal to true more than 0. So yeah, pay attention to triple equal. And again, please don't do this on production. I had such quite close to a solution to like this from one of my candidates from the technical interview. So it's a good one-liner to impress the interviewer, but not a good one to have. Okay, this is false, of course. So anyone can explain why it is false? But of course we have answer here because there are triple equal here. So triple equal sign, it checks not only the values but also the types. So yeah, this will be false, of course. So Natalia is up to the top. Okay, moving forward. So the half of the quiz. What will be displayed in the console? Oh, it's about promises. Promise resolve. I think it's yeah. We need to remember how the event loop works here. So 13 answers so far. Okay. Yes, of course. It will be output 1, output 3, and output 2. Exactly. So, yes, this is how the event loop works. And this is how the queue works. Exactly. You are correct. Okay. And Natalia is the highest answer streak of 3. So, congrats. Keep going. So what will be displayed in the console? Let value equals 0, function fun of value, this value equals value, return value, and new fun of 5. So yeah, please pay attention to how we declare and how do we call. Yeah, this is also how JavaScript works. Only true JavaScripters can do it. Okay, of course it's 11. And we have a lot of, 5. We have a lot of JavaScripters here. So yeah, so we just pass in the value and we are printing the value. And we don't care about this here. We just print in the value. Okay, that was pretty simple. Okay, so yeah, Natalia is still on the top. Good one. So Masha and IG. So, console log 3 plus false more than 5 minus true. So 16 answers. Okay. I guess somebody just typed it into the browser console. So that's why we have TypeScript. Yes, this will be false. Of course it will be false. Because this is not this is less than this. Yes, as we spoke previously, false is 0, true is 1. And 3 plus 0 is less than 4, not more. That's why it's false. Yep. Okay. So IG goes up to the top. Yeah, another console. So array. We have an array. We call array sort, and we call array 1. Yes, the answer is 44. So, who can tell why? Yes, this is magic. The thing here is that when we call sort, it doesn't. It returns an array, not calls the sort of the array. Okay. Well, almost there. So, yep, the console. Pretty similar to what we had previously, but a little bit different definition of function. Nine answers. Yeah, the answers are a little bit unexpected. So it will be 2. Yeah, because we have A and B equals Y, equals A equals 1. So that's why we are redefining B and A here, and we are calling only for A. So that's why we have A and B set to 1, and that's why the answer is 2. But again, don't use it on production. Yeah, so combo breaker. 4 players just dropped the answer streak of 4. Yeah, because it's a tricky question. Okay, so the last but not the least, arrow function, and actually arrow function, this age, and console log. So yeah, we need to remember something about arrow function. And we need to remember about call, bind, and apply. I really like the options that we have here. Okay, only 16 answers. Undefined. Of course it's undefined. We need to remember how call works, and we also need to remember that arrow function doesn't have its own this, and we need to remember how call works. Yes, this is the correct answer. Undefined. Okay, so I think that concludes the quiz. So the podium. Third place is Masha. Congrats! The ID on the second place, and the first place is, wow, looks nice, Natalia. So congrats, Natalia. Yes, Natalia, please type your coordinates, please email your coordinates so we can send your prize. We have a prize for you. So yeah, I think that concludes our quiz. So thanks everyone for your participation. Yes, so thanks everyone for your participation. Thanks for being today with us, and please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, and please consider to visit our next meetups. Okay, so here we have all of our participants. So thank you very much, our dear participants. You are all the best, and I think we had a very good and very nice discussion about the subject. And please let us know if you would like to have some sort of follow-up, or maybe you have some questions for us. So, and we can, maybe you have some ideas about what can we conduct, which meetup we can conduct for the next time. So anything to add?
Yep. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will have more content, more interesting content. Maybe not interesting than today's session, but interesting. So thank you very much for joining, and have a good time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.